Well, it was on Thursday this week that a story broke from David Austin and Fabrizio Romano as here we go for Mason Mount from Chelsea to Manchester United, and the deal was pending medical and hence announcement. For the medical, I brought you a story that his medical has been scheduled, that is tomorrow at Carrington, and he's going to fly back to England to undergo his medical. And guess what? Now, a source coming in from Man United has confirmed us that Mason Mount announcement as a new United player has been said, and he's going to be shown very, very soon. So smash the like button close to 300 times, comment and share, and if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Here we come in peace to talk out Marcel Sabitzer. Fabrizio Romano confirmed us that Bayern Munich are really looking in for some small amount of money, and United are really contemplating on either signing him back or not. And then lastly, we are going to discuss Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek is one of those players that Erik ten Hag looks like wants to move on, and a source known as Vicharges is really linking him to a move away to AC Milan, and United's positivity of cashing in is really high. Rokan David is my name. You can as well call me RD. Smash the like button close to how many times? Close to 200. I called 300 times. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we want to hit how many subscribers? For 10,000 subscribers, and you're left with just minimum subscribers to really hit that number. So let's go do the needful. Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time we do upload a video onto our YouTube channel. Now, as it stands, it's really looking great here onto our channel of ours, that is the United Matters channel, and all is going on well as planned. And as it stands, it's all about Mason Mount. First United signing set to be announced when? Let's see what Rick Fay of Man United is really telling us about this deal and why exactly Erik ten Hag went in for this 24-old English international, Mason Mount. Now, Rick Fay, senior football writer for the Manchester Evening News, has confirmed to us that Manchester United could officially announce the signing of Mason Mount next week after they reached an agreement with Chelsea for the 24-year-old. So they aren't going to wait for long, as Ten Hag wants to see him really part of the team as up. And after the medical being scheduled tomorrow, and if at all he undergoes that medical and passes it tomorrow, obviously United will assess him very well. Remember, the medical always has three segments, and after he passes that medical, guess what is going to happen? An announcement will be imminent. And after the medical is done, the player will sign his contract with Man United. Then United will sign the contract with Chelsea, and then he will be officially a Man United player. A deal was agreed on Thursday between Manchester United and Chelsea for Mason Mount at £60 million, with 55 million guaranteed fees and £5 million of add-ons, and that meant Mason Mount as a new United player as it stands right now. We don't know what shirt number is going to be given, but we'd like to look through which shirt numbers are still available for him to really don at Manchester United. But his announcement is anticipated to happen next week. But as his announcement is coming in through, Ten Hag is one of those that wants to get in more players at the Man United club, meaning that he's really going to kickstart off the preseason with Man United next week, as on the 5th of July, all these players are supposed to report, especially those that never took part into the international break. And this is music to Erik ten Hag's ears that Mason Mount was not included into the English national team squad, and he is going to start training right away at Carrington with Manchester United. So it's really great to see that Man United is into this, and they want to get this deal over the line to continue and do other deals. But as we anticipate onto that, Rick Fay has also confirmed to us as to why Erik ten Hag went in for this guy other than going in for the likes of Moise Caicedo, because £20 million more, United would have gotten themselves Moise Caicedo, a better player. And we've been told by Rick Fay a senior football writer for the Manchester Evening News, that Erik ten Hag wanted to freshen up his midfield with the addition of a young player, hence why he made Mount a priority. This summer, United could announce a deal this week. Now, I anticipate that he wanted a different kind of player altogether, and it was Orikun Kokchu, but the board told him, we want to get you Mason Mount. Would you go in for him, because we might see ourselves really offload lots of homegrown players, because sorry about that. At the moment, we've seen 2 of those leave, and who are they? Ethan Laird, homegrown player who was part of that squad of Man United. He's off to Birmingham on a permanent deal on a fee that was not disclosed. Zidane Igbo to Utrecht at £850,000. That is what has been given to Man United, meaning that more are really leaving. Anthony Elanga is anticipated that he's leaving. Harry Maguire, another homegrown player, is leaving. Scott McTominay, another homegrown player, is leaving. And Brandon Williams, another homegrown player, is leaving. Dean Henderson, another homegrown player, is leaving, meaning that we might see 7 homegrown players leaving the club of Man United. And I was no of surprise that Erik ten Hag was sat down by the club and convinced to sign English players, as he's not a fan of these English players, because he says they're expensive and their quality is really low. That's why you saw to it that in his first summer at Man United of signing players, he never signed an English player. And never did he. Never did he. Even when we lacked a striker in the January transfer window, he would have gone ahead and obviously gotten in an English striker from the Championship or elsewhere or from another team. He said, no, I'm not doing that business right now. So that is Erik ten Hag for you, not fancying English players. But for the age, I really don't agree with it, because even Moise Caicedo is a more young player than Mason Mount, 3 years younger, and he has a lot to offer. But it was all about getting in an English player, because every time United spends a window without signing in English players, they have to make sure they bring in one in the next season. And we've seen this on several occasions. When Solskjaer came in through, having not signed English players for Jose Mourinho, we saw United going in for 3 English players at once, coming in from the UK. Daniel James, UK, born and bred. Harry Maguire, UK, born and bred. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you know. And the next summer, they never signed in an English player, because they brought in Donny van de Beek, Facundo Pellistri, Amad Diallo, Alex Telles, and Edson Cavani. After that, they brought in Jadon Sancho the next summer, and Ronaldo plus Rafael Varane. So they had to bring in homegrown players. That's why you saw it that if at all Spurs was willing to negotiate a deal with Man United, you would have even wondered where United would have gone ahead to get the money. When it comes to English players, United don't contemplate. They just cash it out, you know. But on these other players, you find them playing the L game, you know, spinning things around, and they don't really fancy quality over these English players. And you've seen it again on Mason Mount. You know, Mason Mount, they're offering him a deal of £200,000, and they've gone ahead to pay £60 million for him from Chelsea to Man United. Adrien Rabiot wanted a deal of just £6 million per year, because when you multiply £200,000 times 52 weeks that make up a year, that is £10 million per year. And Adrien Rabiot on a free, he would have gone ahead to really earn close to £7 million a year, and they snapped him and they said, we're not going to really dance to your tunes, and they really made it up to not signing him. So it shows you how ugly they are when it comes to negotiating deals with players who are not really English based. But nevertheless, we have the player in and is ready to hit the ground running at the club of Man United, and let's wait and see what he is going to offer to this club of Manchester United very, very soon. Now, leaving that Mason Mount announcement, we go into the Marcel Sabitzer. We all know that if United had concrete interest for Marcel Sabitzer, they wouldn't have gone ahead to sign Mason Mount, but they would have gone ahead to bring in Marcel Sabitzer at once. But one will say the problem was the age, because he's 29 years of age and is soon hitting 30, and Ten Hag wanted to add athleticism and young age in his midfield, and Sabitzer doesn't tick all those boxes that Erik Ten Hag really wanted. If you are to talk about quality, obviously Sabitzer is a better player than Mason Mount, but age is not onto his side. Now, Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead and really issued a tweet today via his Twitter that Bayern are now prepared to let Marcel Sabitzer leave the club in case of good proposal around 15 to 17 million euros. Man United announced yesterday his departure after loan deal. Ten Hag was happy with Sabitzer, but there are still different priorities onto the market. So the price to me is really what matters. I think if you have to sign Sabitzer and at just 13-15 million pounds, I think he's a midfielder you'd love to have in your team. Having brought in Mason Mount, I think you just go on and really sign in Sabitzer. And as he's told us, that is Fabrizio Romano, that Erik Ten Hag was happy with Sabitzer, but there are still different priorities on the market right now, meaning that he's keeping on an eye on Sabitzer. And obviously Samuel Lucas has also gone ahead and really confirmed to us that Manchester United will keep their options open with Marcel Sabitzer after his loan move officially ended, but a permanent deal remains unlikely. So they are still looking at Marcel Sabitzer, and they are still contemplating on whether to really see him back at Man United or not, depending on how the budget is going to really help them out. And when you look at the budget of Man United, I won't be surprised if at all you go back for Marcel Sabitzer. That's it. I know people don't want him. Not all. There are some, most United fans like him, but there are some people that don't feel he did a wonderful job at Man United. But I believe for a player who never had a preseason with the club and just came in a very, very intense moment, he really did what he had to do. So I think I'm not going to be shocked if at all United might go in for this player, because I don't see us signing another midfielder, because who are we going to sign when we spend 40 million pounds on Andre Onana? We spend close to 60 million pounds on the centre forward. That means we'd have gone ahead to spend a total of 160 million pounds. That is it. Will he have money left to spend huge on a midfielder? That is a very huge doubt at Man United. That's where I really tell you that for Sabitzer, we might find ourselves making a turn back, or a U-turn, to go back and really sign him. Because if we fail to sign Rabiot on a free, we've gone ahead to do that job of a Casemiro, then we'll find ourselves in a situation of obviously signing Sabitzer back at Man United. That's why you've been told that his options are being kept open by the board of Man United, and I think we are soon waiting to see how everything is going to pan on and obviously move on, because we are obviously letting you know that nothing is going to be completed favorably at Man United if at all we don't find ourselves in a position of getting in the people that really matter in running this club, because you cannot go all out and spend 40 million pounds onto Onana right now at Man United. That is a fuss, and I would love to let you know that that is a move in the wrong direction. Even the deal of Mason Mount, I believe we needed to first bring in what we call a central defensive midfielder, or a Rabiot, or a Caicedo, who can do the job of Casemiro, if at all Casemiro is really out, and another person who can as well do that in the double pivot, because Rabiot can do it. He can play as a CDM, he can play the double pivot with Casemiro, and even Caicedo can play in the CDM position and obviously play the double pivot alongside Casemiro. So those are my points, but nevertheless, if Ten Hag wanted the player, I back him 100%, but that does not stop me from really putting in my complaints as far as that deal is really concerned, because this world is all about sharing our opinions in broad daylight. Now, lastly, fee charges from Spain. AC Milan are interested in Donny van de Beek. Milan manager Stefano Pioli is a big fan of the Dutch, and the Italian side could pay around 20 million euros. I really believe we can get more money from this player. I think 30 million euros could be the bare minimum for this player, like to go all through and obviously cash in for him to any club that wants him, because I don't see Donny van de Beek really getting enough playing time at Man United. And in the previous video I did in the morning, I told you that the only way I see him thriving at Man United is when he gets a miraculous preseason at Man United, because he's going to be part of the players that arrive at Man United as up as next week, because he never took part in the international break. He was injured, and towards the end of the season that we finished second and won a Carabao Cup, lost to Man City in the FA Cup finale, and we are knocked out the quarterfinals of the UEFA Europa League by Sevilla. He was really back playing or knocking that ball around and training with his fellow United players. That is Donny van de Beek. So he's going to be part of that team that's going to be taking part into the first training sessions with Erik ten Hag. And if at all he plays that game of Leeds well, you might see him back into that team of Manchester United, and we anticipate that lots of things are really going to happen. And you never rule out anything in this life, because no one is tall enough to know what the future holds, and Donny van Beek can really rise up to the occasion and impress his manager Erik ten Hag, who really got him from the academy of Ajax and promoted him into the team or the senior team of Ajax. But AC Milan is interested in the player, but I think 20 million euros, that's a very, very, very cheap bargain for the player. Let them make like 30 million euros, 25 million pounds for him. That won't be bad for Man United. So guys, your thoughts onto Mason Mount United announcement scheduled? Welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Sabitzer? Would you like to see him back at Man United? Yes or no? And lastly, what do you make about Donny van de Beek 20 million euro bargain or purchase by AC Milan anticipated? I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim friends, may Allah protect you abundantly. Or can David sign out for now?